Novack George. I'm a citizen of the Republic. I don't represent anybody except myself, and I'm a friend of Afra's.
There we have it.
Couple of points. First of all, some of you may or may not know that there's something called the NixonTapes.org. Check it out. It's brilliant. What it is as follows. As you may recall, Richard Nixon, that fine bastard, recorded everything from 1960, when he first became president, until a few short weeks before he had to quit. There was a voice-activated tape recording happening continuously in the Oval Office, and he recorded everything. And NixonTapes.org is an organization whose mission has been to transcribe these tapes. It's over 4,000 hours of tapes. So imagine the transcripts. They're rich, they're unedited, they are the most accurate, unencumbered version of what the political directorate is thinking. It goes further. NixonTapes.org also has the Kissinger transcripts. You all can figure this out on your own online. It's brilliant. But here's the beautiful thing about it. Nixon taped everybody. And so did Henry Kissinger. And neither Nixon nor Kissinger ever told each other. This brethren, this is the National Security Secretary and the President. Nixon's method was different. Nixon had technology, voice activated. If you're in the Oval Office and you're talking, you're on tape. Kissinger was different. He had listening devices and he had two secretaries who were transcribing everything as they go. So when Kissinger left public office, he destroyed the tapes, but he kept the transcripts. And he gave the transcripts to the National Archive with the proviso that they can't disclose anything in his lifetime. And a bunch of civil society organizations in the United States went to court against Kissinger and the National Security Archive to say, nah man, these things happened during the Cold War at a time when we need to know what was taking place, blah, blah, blah. Kissinger is on the record, we want those transcripts. And after a generation's battles, if you go to NixonTapes.org, you can see the transcripts of what Henry Kissinger was recording. And you can see the transcripts of what Richard Nixon was saying. Some of it not very flattering, but all of it in its pristine original condition. In case all of this sounds like it's just mere history, it's not. Last week, Bangladesh sentenced to death a bastard for genocide. And where the information resides as to his genocidal craziness is from those tapes. So imagine the pain and suffering of a generation. I can put it to rest because they got the information. So you can thank the bastard Richard Nixon for that. Two other points. A question for the gentleman. What do you think is the responsibility of the civic society agents to build up the practice of using the Freedom of Information legislation? How can the civil society actually drive the behavior? Because I think what would make the political directorate get better is the vigilance that's around them all the time, because everybody is FOI-ing them out of the XYZ. Because if you bar around four sides with FOI to the nines, you'll either behave or get out of politics. It's that simple. So I think that's one question. And I have one more thing. Let me just, I wrote my notes on my phone. That was just, somebody mentioned something about Black Power. Royal Gibbons and they did a processional on Black Power, remembered and reenacted. I was there for one. It's brilliant. What they did in a nutshell is they did a thing on stage and halfway through they say, okay, enough of this. Everybody get outside and walk around like the Black Power protests. And I'm the generation immediately after Black Power, and everybody who was walking around was several years younger than me. They were flipped out of their mind because they didn't understand that you actually had to walk around to protest. You don't just click a link and click that you like something. It's not as easy as it sounds in practice.
You want to say to everyone?
Not at all. Not at all.
Yes, yeah. Anybody want to respond?
No, it's okay. We'll wrap it up.
Got a question on this side?
Okay,
Yeah?
yes, all right.